Now for the track guide. Guys, before starting, I just released some new courses, car-specific courses, so if you want to improve at a quicker pace, check out my website. Now going into the track guide itself, for turn 1 the reference for braking will be the number 1 board right here. You want to brake hard in a straight line, make sure you're putting the tire and you're almost brushing the grass on the left side, and when you're braking, try to aim to have 0 degrees of steering wheel angle so that you can maximize the efficiency under braking. So hitting close to 100% or 100% will be key here, and what's important is that you need to have a tight line into this corner, because if you just run out wide you will lose grip. So ideally you want to brush this green and yellow strips of the curb and want to keep a tight line because the rubber is here on the inside. The more you go to the outside, the grip level will fade, and this is exactly the same for the exit. So look here on your way out, don't go more than this on the left side. This was a bit too much as well, because what will happen right now, you can't push the throttle comfortably. So look right now, struggling to get close to 100% quickly. That's because the car is just a bit wider on the exit. So try to keep a tight line. A good reference will be this grayish curb and this white line. You want to follow it around like this, because for the next corner we won't go near the apex, we'll go around it so that we'll lose a bit of time on entry, but we'll gain that time back and more into the next corner. Because if we just took this line and get close to this gray curve here on the inside, then we will have such a wide and such a difficult line into the next corner. Instead we go around it in the center of the track, positioning the car near the curb. Before this yellow curb we start applying the brakes. We just use the brakes to make the car rotate. So notice in fourth gear we don't brake that much, we just manage the rotation with the brakes going a bit up and down, and then pushing the throttle once again. Your goal will be to arrive at this part of the track all the way to the sand. And now for the reference for braking here will be mostly based on feel. You can use this this green box right here or the number 4, but my advice here will be just after you get off the curb, like half a second later, just apply the brakes and look at the apex. Don't look on the right side. This is what I'm doing all the time. I'm just braking based on feel and I'm looking at the apex, and after I get off the curb I'm applying the brakes. In second gear, cut as much as you can here. The car ideally should not get all the way to the right side, should be in the center right but not all the way to the right side, and then upshift quickly to third gear so you get that traction back. Try to cut this curb as much as you can, and in this section you're just managing the space that you're taking with the car with the throttle. You try to keep the car in track limits in third gear, but you do that by managing the throttle, doing up and downs, movements in your throttle pedal. Make sure you're going all the way to the left side here. This is key to open up the next one. So the left tire should be on the grayish curb. And now when taking this curb, cut as much as you can here, cut as much as you can there, and you will measure how good of a sequence you had in this part of the track by this throttle lifts. If those lifts go completely to 0 and you stay to 0 and then get it back up, you lost a lot of time. So your goal will be to do it in a way that you still don't go to 0 and you keep the minimum speed up throughout that section. Now going into this left-hander, make sure first of all you're all the way to the right side. You're turning into the corner with 100% throttle, so don't brake and turn. Just turn, do a small lift, and then go back up. Look how small this lift is. So just a tiny lift, because you will use all the track right here. And now for this corner, braking point will be at number 2. This is a hard corner, especially in this car. We got a bit of understeer into this corner, so not ideal. For sure could have gained like 2-3 tenths more, but braking at number 2 will be key. Then you're going to downshift to fourth gear, third gear by the time you arrive at this curb. And now you have to imagine that you need to push the car straight like this to get to this part of the curb. So you see a lot of checkpoints in this long corner. The first one is the first apex, now this curb, and now in second gear you try to bring it closer to the curb. That's why we missed it a bit. We got some front wheel lockups and then the car didn't turn as much. But you want to keep a tighter line and go earlier than this on the throttle. You will use all the track if you do that. So make sure you're just prioritizing the exit in that corner. That's going to be key. And now we're heading towards the last section of this track, which is a bit more straightforward. So for this corner, braking point, at number 1, you will start pointing the car into the corner, and when you get close and you see this grayish curve in front of you, you will apply the brakes. You will try to cut it like this to shorten up the distance in 4th gear, 2nd gear, and make sure that you're doing this drop in brakes at this point in time, because the grip levels are different here. When you're going uphill, you have a lot more grip, so the car brakes better. But then when the car starts to go straight, so you're going towards the crest, but then the crest goes straight like this, it's not the crest anymore, then at that point in time when the car almost jumps, then you have less grip. And so that change in grip level should be reflected in your brake trace. That's why we see here this drop off in brake pressure. So make sure you're doing that. Now in 2nd gear, you will try to hug this as much as you can. Go to 3rd gear, upshift early to make sure the rear won't slide on your way out. Push the car all the way here to the left, that's fine. And once again, as in sector 1, you will manage your space with the throttle. So we're doing here some throttle corrections, just making sure that we're not going to the grass. Hitting this curb is going to be key on the right side. And now for the last 2 corners, think of them as a single corner, because there's one sweeping motion here. You first need to cut this curb a lot. Look where the tire is. Put to the grass like this. So you will just do a throttle drop and a small brake, and then you will continue the brake up until you hit the 2nd curb right here in 4th gear, and then you go on throttle. So you see, the brake starts before the 1st curb, you maintain it while you go downhill into the 2nd, and then you're pushing the throttle. And in short, that's a track guide around here. I hope you like it, I hope you enjoy it. If you want to improve at a quicker pace, check out my website, and looking forward to see you in the next one. Bye bye.